I say to you that you've seen so much, you've experienced so much. Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, the rock invasion from Europe, a band called the Beatles. You left home as a kid named Sonny, and there wasn't even rock and roll. There was no Elvis Presley.
No. I know.
There was Ella and Billie Holiday. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another fair question.
I was Ella Fitzgerald's favorite baseball player.
Were you really?
Yes, she invited me to her home, which I accepted. She played piano for me.
I will proudly tell you, and this isn't about me, I also got invited to Ella's home.
Oh yeah.
And I also got to go in the front door where in the center of her house was the garden. And we got to have brunch in the garden. For a kid that was raised by his grandparents listening to Ella, very rarely do I get to match one of you guys' stories. But I will tell you, if we're going to talk about Ella, a big thrill in my life.
Good for you.
For you know, I just said that. There's Ella and Billie Holiday, and there's then this new thing called rock and roll, and then there's the British invasion, and then there's Motown. And then you're playing the banjo on national TV.
Yeah.
Sonny from the Projects.
Yeah.
Chat with me about music a little bit, because you're before it all and you're after it all.
Yeah. Well, you know, I spent 8.5 years in the minor leagues, and we talked about how Bobby Bragan had changed me as a player and my thinking, and I got my talents together, and I went to the Dodgers, and I played in the 1959 World Series as a rookie against the Chicago White Sox. So, but at the time, I'm living in Spokane, Washington, because that's the AAA town. So when the season was over and the World Series was over, I went back to Spokane to spend the winter, be with my family. And so it was one night I went into a Shakey's Pizza Parlor. On the way home, just stopped in Shakey's Pizza Parlor, and they had this rinky-dink honky-tonk piano. That's what they call a honky-tonk piano. And they had a washboard, the guy, whoa, 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 like that, you know. And then they had a tuba. No, I was too sophisticated.
Okay.
No guitar or anything. It was a tuba.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. And then the guy playing a washboard. And greatest sound in the world. Great sound. And so I waited for that banjo player to finish the set. And when he came down, I introduced myself and I asked him if he could teach me. And he said, well, Maury, I have a day job, but I can refer you to my teacher. So he gave me the teacher's name and phone number, and I called the teacher the next day. I went by to see him to learn to play the banjo, and I went 8 years without missing a day touching it. I put that same effort into that I put into my career. And I ended up playing 6 times on the Tonight Show. Hollywood Palace, Milton Berle. Oh yeah.
A baseball player is one thing in front of 50,000. How were you on the shows? I mean, you're in front of 1 million people.
Oh yeah.
You know, Sonny's picking the banjo on national TV.
Yeah.
You're not a musician. You're a baseball player.
Yeah, that's right.
But because of your God-given personality, and then you're attacking something new, why not put Maury, on nationwide TV with the banjo? What were you nervous? Were you comfortable? Did you just do your thing?
Well, I felt that I had a head start because most people are baseball fans.
Okay.
So they're not expecting me to be but so good. But boy, he could run those bases, couldn't he? You see, so I knew that was out in the forefront. So if I can play a little bit, I'm going to be way ahead. But going 8 years without missing a day.
You brought Bill Bailey to national television.
I could play that thing. I could really play that banjo.
If you signed in 1950 as this kid named Sonny, the Yankees are going to the World Series every year. The Dodgers, if they go, they lose every year until 55. Well, in 1955, you got 5 years in the minor leagues under your belt.
Yeah.
You got Newcomb, Campy, Jackie. I mean, it's
and Joe Black.
Joe Black won the Rookie of the Year,
That's
for
right.
God's sakes. So the Dodgers, other teams were letting one black on the roster,
Mhm.
two blacks on the roster. The Dodgers obviously were ahead of the game, but still no Sonny, no Maury Wills.
Yeah.
56, you're still in the minor leagues. Take me back. Something had to change.
Yes.
Is it that they had to change or you had to change? What got you to the big leagues?
Mhm.
You know, that's the real question.
I had to change.
Was it you?
Yes.
So we're not blaming it on management
No.
or the executives.
No.
What did you have to change to
Most
get there?
things in life with individuals, it's an inside job.
Okay.
And even with you, it's an inside job. You're sitting here, you've come this far to find me, to interview me.
Yes, I have.
And you enjoying this interview.
Oh, yes.
You carrying this interview. It's because what's in you. Okay. So,
I have an obligation knowing that thousands of people will see this in some bedroom, in some cold night, in some little town.
okay.
I have a responsibility that they get something out of it rather than just a baseball play.
See?
They get Sonny's heart.
And
That's
your
my
motivation.
job.
Yeah, it's your motivation. Yeah. And it's not just because it's your job. You have something. Mostly everything. It's an inside job. When it comes to how good we can be or how far we go. I was always the littlest guy on the field.
Okay.
So here I am. I'm black. I'm playing in the 50s.
Milk chocolate black.
No. Black is black. I know. I'm only kidding. Yeah.
I'm only lost.
And this is 1950. 1950. I'm trying to-
55, they won it. 56, you're
Well,
still in the
I'm talking
minors.
about when I went to the minor leagues.
Okay.
I signed in 50 in September, and I went to spring training in 51.
Yep.
So okay, so now I'm 17 when I signed.
I get you.
I just turned 18 because my birthday's in October. So I'm in Florida. I can run, I can throw,
Right.
and I can field. But in baseball, you better be able to hit
Oh.
if you're a position player.
Initially in the minors, you were a weak hitting shortstop?
I was signed as a pitcher.
I know that.
And I went down there and they put all the second basemen at second base. Only
Right.
about 3 players went over. All the third basemen about 4. All the catchers about 5. Right fielders, left fielders, center fielders, 4, 3, 2, and so all the pitchers over here, and all these big farm boys. It was about like maybe 250 pitchers, and I'm a little guy like that. And all these guys, I said, wow. So I noticed that there were no second basemen. When they did ask for second baseman, nobody went over there. My first time at being,
A non-pitcher.
my first time at being aggressive
Okay.
and using my, being smart about
Sure.
this thing. So I went to the manager and said, hey coach, call him coach. They don't have coaches in baseball, you're a manager.
Sure.
I said, hey coach, I can play second base. Because there was no second baseman over there. For the first time in my life, I was being an opportunist.
Yes, you were.
And they said, oh, we're going over there, kid. And I never pitched. And I played second base my first year, and they saw I had some range with a strong arm.
So you stuck playing a new position,
Yeah, right off the bat.
and you did well enough that you came back in 52.
I did well enough that I led the league in stolen bases and hit 280 and came back and beat my brother in the race. And then the next year I went back and they found out that I had some range and I had a strong arm and I could think. So they put me at shortstop.
So the Dodgers moved you from second to short.
Yeah. See, second basemen are infielders who cannot play shortstop.
I understand. I was a second baseman. I will take the hit.
You couldn't play second.
I
You couldn't play
didn't.
short.
I didn't have the right arm.
There you go. You got to make that long throw, and you got to go out for cutoffs and everything else. So anyway, so here I am. I was just good enough for them not to give up on me,
Okay.
but I wasn't going anywhere. Now, no minor league player stays in the minor leagues for 8.5
I'm well
years.
aware.
Either they release you saying you don't have it, you're not going to make it, or you get discouraged and you quit. My first year, I made $150 a month meal money, $1.25 a day meal money. I loved every moment of it.
Sure.
I going to Brooklyn with Jackie.
It's better than shoveling snow.
Oh yeah, and making a little wagon. Yeah. So and shining shoes. So I did 8.5 years. It seems like I just had enough to hang around to fill out the team. You know, when you have a minor league team of let's say for instance 12 players, 15 players total, everybody's not a prospect.
I understand.
You might have 2 prospects. You need the rest of the players to fill in the team.
Sure. You saw Carl Spooner go up.
Yeah.
You saw Monk Meyer. You saw these other people going up.
Yeah.
You stayed.
Yeah, I was one of those that just fill out the team. Apparently, too. But I'm thinking I can make it. So now I'm getting to the point.
Yeah.
8.5 years later, I'm in AAA, and Bobby Bragan just gets fired from the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
The general manager of our AAA team is from Fort Worth, where Bobby's from,
Sure.
and they're buddies.
Okay.
He somehow talked Bobby into coming over to manage our little AAA team.
Fort Worth Cats?
No, the Spokane Indians.
Okay.
Because they're
Okay.
the Coast League.
I get you.
And the reason he asked him to come over and manage us was he thought maybe we'd get some more fans in the stands. At least they're coming to see Bobby Bragan, but not us.
Yes. World Series player, Dodger.
Yeah, and not but too much he gonna do with this team
I get it.
that he was taking over, and I'm one of those players. So maybe about 4 or 5 days after Bobby joined the team,
Right.
a week maybe, we're taking batting practice, and at the end of batting, and I was strictly a right-handed hitter,
Right.
and the right-handed hitter is that curveball that gets you.
Sure.
Nobody can. Now I'm gonna look into the camera and say this.
Right.
People don't talk much about fear in baseball, but there is fear. And it's fear. One of the fears is getting hit in the head with a curveball, a pitch ball. And that's what makes a curve effective. If I'm a right-handed hitter and a right-handed pitcher is pitching, that arm is here and he gets that ball behind me, and man, I flinch, and then the ball breaks over the plate. The moment I flinch, it's all over. That's why they call a curveball Uncle Charlie. You got a good curveball, you can win. It takes a lot of courage to stand there like this with that ball right here, and you got to wait for it to break over the plate, and then you hit it. When it gets, the moment you flinch, it's over. The ball hadn't even gotten there yet.
You're telling me you're in your mid-20s when you became a switch hitter?
Oh yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah, you don't. I was.
In my
I was
brain,
probably-
right? I didn't ask it. I didn't know what the reason was.
Yeah.
You just, in my brain, up till now, you're just always a switch hitter because that's what I know.
No, I was a strictly right-handed hitter. I signed when I was 17, and I think I became a switch hitter in 1970. In 51, 51 I started, and Spokane was 1958. So you see, I went quick.
So you increased your valuableness to the club by being able to hold your own against a lefty or a righty.
That's right. And that was the key.
I didn't
that
know.
was the difference. A lot of athletes are world-class athletes, except for they maybe come up short in one little area, and that keeps you from being a world-class. That makes you good, and you might win in the semifinals and blah, blah, blah. But when you get to the Olympics, no. And the major leagues like the Olympics. Okay.
Sure.
So one day, and Bobby took over the team. Now Bobby Bragan is white. He's from Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep.
He refused to play with Jackie Robinson because of Jackie's color of Jackie's skin.
Yep.
No more than 8 years earlier.
Yep. And he's got that inside him that he's got to deal with.
Yeah, right. Now so one day in batting practice, I figured I'm not going anywhere. In batting practice, baseball, when you get to the last 5 minutes, you don't have time to get around with the whole lineup.
Sure.
So you play a little game called base hits.
Okay.
And I'm the leadoff hitter, so I call base hits. You get one pitch, and you got to hit it. And if it's good enough where it goes for a hit, you get another swing.
Okay.
And you better make it a good hit, because all the guys who are waiting to get in there are the ones who are judging whether it was a hit or not me swinging. So I got on the left side, wham, and I smacked that base hit. And the guy said, go, Maury. I said, that's a hit. That's a, yeah, Maury, go ahead. And I hit it, wham, I got another one. That's a hit. I said, yeah, Maury, good for you. And I got another one, I got a hit. And then I got out of the cage. They ran me out.
That's enough.
Yeah, we don't have much time. We got to go. So I'm walking back to the dugout, and Bobby Bragan met me halfway. He was in the dugout watching, and he put his arms around me. Here's a man, white, from Birmingham, Alabama, refused to play with Jackie Robinson because of Jackie's skin, put his arms around me. He said, Maury, I was watching. Did you ever think of hitting left-handed? I said, no. He said, well, you know what? I think you're afraid of the curve. Now, this is the key right here, open-mindedness. A closed mind is one of the worst things that any person can have, a closed mind. And an open mind is one of the greatest things you can have.
Sure.
So I'm sure in my 8 years of minor league ball, along their way, somebody must have told me, even more than once, you're afraid of the curve. I ain't afraid of no curve. Because no man likes to be told he's afraid of anything. So I denied it. And I just kept flinching and flinching and flinching and taking strike 3 and going back to the dugout and going being a good fielder, but flinching and flinching and going nowhere. So, as if God had put his hands on my shoulder and said, you keep quiet this time. And when Bobby said, I think you're afraid of the curve, the only thing, if I said anything, it was, huh? That's it. He said, you come out tomorrow. He said, I'll throw to you. You ever think you'd switch hitting? I said, no. He said, Maury, you get on the other side of the plate, everything is out there. The ball never gets behind you.
Plus, it's quicker to first base.
He said, yeah. He said, you can hit that, you make that shortstop make one step to his right with your speed, he'll never throw you out. I said, okay. So he came out the next day and he threw to me for about 3-4 days. And I'm trying to start while we were in the hometown. He said, no, wait till we go on the road. I don't want you to be embarrassed in front of the hometown fans. Yeah, so we went to Sacramento about 3 days later. In the meantime, I'm still hitting right-handed and taking my 0 for 3, 0 for 4, flinching.
I understand.
But great field. He said, you got all the other tools, Maury. You can field, you got the arm, you got the range. You're smart. He said, it's that curve. So we went to Sacramento, and he came up to me and said, they got a right-hander going, you're the first hitter.
You're going to bat lefty.
You're batting left-handed. He said, yeah, you're a left-handed hitter now. That's how you talk. You spitting tobacco, you know? Yeah. It's okay. So I got up there, and he had already told me, if I can make that shortstop take one step to his right with my speed, I beat my brother, didn't I? Yeah, with my speed, he'd never throw me out. So I learned how to get inside the ball and hit that ball to left field from the left side. And the curveball didn't bother me because it was always out there. And if it was a right-handed pitcher, left-handed pitcher, I get on the right side, my natural side is coming from right there. Okay. First time up, and I got in the batter's box. No hitting for the Spokane Indians. The PA system.
Sure.
Maury, shortstop. Maury, Wills. So, man, all of a sudden, I started doing something you should never do when you get in the batter's box. I started thinking. I said, oh,
because you're hitting left-handed.
Yeah. I said, suppose that guy throws one at me. I don't know if I can get out of the way. We didn't practice that. By the time here comes the ball, fastball right down the middle of the plate. And I went inside like Bobby had taught me and tried to hit that ball to deep shortstop. And I hit the top half of the ball. Bam, hit home plate, went 40 feet in the air. By the time the ball came down, with my speed, I'm standing on first. I stole second, stole third, 2 pitches, and scored a run. I came in the dugout, and my friends, teammates said, hey, way to go, Wills. They'd never seen that. So I got up there the second time, and I started doing something again I should never do.
Thinking again?
Thinking again. And my thinking was, oh, I bet this guy's mad at me now. He's going to throw one at me. I don't know if I can get out of the way because we never practiced that. Well, they don't. You can hit the ball 10 miles out of the ballpark. The only thing the opposing team will say, boy, that guy can hit. You steal a base, and they say, we'll get you. It's like, I don't know, something about stealing the base that makes them mad.
Sure.
It's like, I guess you got to smile at them. I don't know. Because I'd already stole second, stole third, and scored the run. So I'm thinking all that. You're not supposed to be thinking about that. I'm supposed to be getting ready for
That's
the pitch.
right.
But here comes the ball, and I'm thinking he's going to throw it at me, but it's right down the middle of the plate. And I go to hit it to deep shortstop, make that shortstop go to his right, hit
And?
the top half of the ball, hit home plate, boom, 40 feet in the air. By the time the ball came down, I'm standing on first.
They already know you stole
Understand
second
it.
and third the
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah. Now I'm telling you this. Now, in my major league career, I got 2,134 hits. And the
Yes.
reason I remember that is because every baseball player knows what the stats are.
Okay.
When the player says, "Hey man, somebody say, how many home runs did you hit
Okay.
in your career?" "Oh, I don't know." I
Yes,
don't
you
count.
do.
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
So I'm saying to you, I got 2,134 hits. At least 500 of them were off a home plate. Boom, up in the air like that. My teammates used to say, "Gee, Maury, can you show me how to hit that ball off the plate like that?" I said, "Man, I don't know how to do that. I'm trying to hit the ball deep shortstop."
You made a living out of trying to hit the ball to shortstop and failing.
Yeah, that's right. And hit home plate and went 40 feet in the air.
That's great stuff.
And guess what? So we went to so the Spokane Indian team went to Phoenix to play the Giants AAA
Sure.
team in the Pacific Coast League, and I had a good night.
Okay.
I got
Is
like 3
this
hits.
the day?
Yeah. This
Oh,
is the
dude,
day.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a fan now. I'm not an interviewer.
Okay.
I'm dying.
I got about 3 hits that game. Made some good plays, And so Bobby came to me after the game and said, "You're going to the Dodgers tomorrow."
Ooh.
I said, "Ooh."
Oh, Lord, it's in me. I
Yeah.
ain't even you.
And the Dodger team was in Milwaukee,
Okay.
so I had to leave about 6 in the morning, maybe 7, to catch a flight. So whenever you have a good night as a baseball player,
Mm-hmm.
the next morning you get a newspaper.
Of course.
As a baseball player, if you didn't have a good night, you stay away from that newspaper. So okay, I had a good night. So I'm going to the lobby. I'll get a newspaper, so maybe I can read about myself while I'm on the plane. And I opened the paper, and there was a quote in the article on the game. I'll always remember it. This was 1959,
Right.
and right now we're in 2015. The quote was, "I like the way that kid slides, Ty Cobb." Ty Cobb was sitting in the stands. He saw me play my last minor league game, and he commented on it. He said, "I like the way that kid slides." And I can show you today picture of Ty Cobb sliding. I can show you a picture of Maury Will sliding, and they're identical. And I didn't learn, nobody taught me that.
That's just you.
I just came out of the womb sliding that way. They're sliding that way.
You get off of a plane in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
As a major leaguer.
as a major leaguer. And I went to the dugout. I went to the ballpark, and I'm looking for my locker. I see Reese. I see Snyder. I see Drysdale, Koufax, Levine. There it is, in the corner there. Maurice Wills. Yeah. And in 2 years' time, I'm their captain.
Don't be Maury Wills, right? Be a manager like Smokey Alston, right?
Yeah.
That was his job for close to 20 years. He ended up in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
It's his job to have leadership and make decisions, right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then it's his job to pick inner leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not asking Sonny Wills the question.
Mm-hmm.
I got to spend time with Walter Alston because that's the area that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio, Miami of Ohio.
Sure.
You're making me think of when I spoke to him in the offseason. How did that occur? His job is to run 25 guys. 15 of them usually love you. 5 are undecided.
Yeah.
5 hate you
Yeah.
because they need a paycheck.
Yeah.
So how does this new kid that's been in the minors, in 18 months, he's the captain of the team?
Yeah.
I mean, explain it from Alston's point of view.
Well,
Isn't that better than from your point of view?
oh yeah, Austin. I had a meeting in spring training, and he said we need a captain. I want a captain of the team because Pee Wee had retired, and he said we're going to take a vote. I don't know how they did it. I wasn't there.
You weren't.
No.
Interesting.
See, because I had gone to Washington, D.C. My dad was ill and was dying. And I went to see him, and when I came back, I found out I was the captain. And they,
What were you thinking? I mean, when you come back,
yeah,
you're just trying to make it.
yeah,
And I'm serious. You're a human being.
yeah.
I told you to. I mean, you got to have a reaction.
Oh, I did. It was solemn, really. I mean, I didn't rejoice or go out and have
I know,
drinks.
but
Under me, the captain, Duke Snyder, Don Drysdale, Koufax, Clem Labine,
Don Demeter.
Don Demeter,
You're
yes.
making me think. Chuck Esesian.
Chuck Season, all these guys, John Roseborough, Jim Gilliam, Stan Williams. I'm just naming names. And
Sure.
I'm the captain of the team.
It's cool.
I had all
It's
it
cool to
happen,
sit here
I'll
with you
never
and
know.
talk about it.
I'll never know how.
Because
it happened.
9 out of 10 interviews with you, we can look up all the interviews for the last 50 years. It's about the 59 Dodgers as a kid coming in. It's the 63. It's the 104 steals. It's the 62 MVP. It's all, it's mostly the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's always holding clinics. It's lots of. But now you're the leader of the team,
Yeah,
and you're about to change the way baseball's played.
yeah,
And 20 years from now, 30 years from now, after you've passed away, the way you will be remembered before Pete Rose is you literally changed the way a game was played.
yeah, yeah. You know, I learned that off of the projects from those old guys with a half pint of whiskey in their back pockets. That's the game I took to the big leagues with me.
You were the Negro Leagues 15 years after Jackie Robinson broke in
Hmm.
because you were around those people as a kid.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
it's amazing.
I can go into you win the 59 World Series. Oh, that's a great question. You win the 59 World Series, and because you're so young and you got this league minimum $5,000 or whatever,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You win the World Series, you got yourself a serious check.
Oh man. Yeah. I think that check was for something like 11,000.
I'm dying to know.
And
Go
I said,
ahead.
wow, I'm gonna buy that place in the country. I always wanted.
Really?
Yeah. Never saw $11,000 one time in my life. I said, this is great. That inspired me too to continue to practice. I'm gonna get better and better and better.
Now that you got here, the
Yeah.
hardest thing in baseball is to stay.
It's to stay. Yeah.
So you bought a house with the World Series money?
I bought a house. Yeah.
Where?
In Spokane, Washington.
You liked it out there, man.
Well, my family was already there, and I went
get
back
it.
there. Yeah. And I didn't want to go back to Washington D.C.
The cold, the snow. I get it.
and the style of life.
I get it.
But I'm living out in the West Coast. I was up in the state of Washington. People are nice, open country. I'm learning how to even hunt.
Sure. Playing the banjo.
Playing the banjo. it was, and the kids going to
All right.
high school.
60, the Pirates pull off the miracle. The Pirates beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to come into your own. 61, right? Cincinnati Reds, unexpectedly, but they face one of the strongest teams ever. Yankees destroy the Reds in the World Series. 62, that's Maury Wills' year, but it's the San Francisco Giants year
Yeah.
with what went on at the end of the season playoffs. So all your runs scored, all your hits, the MVP, the stolen bases, you were in a playoff. Was it the 62 or was it the 63 year that there was playoffs?
62.
It is 62.
Yeah.
It was a 3-game playoff, right?
Yeah. Yes. Right.
You've already tasted the World Series,
Yeah.
and it's 62, and it's your year.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the playoffs? They always ask about the MVP. I'm asking you about that playoff because that wasn't the positive of the year. You did everything else.
Yeah.
3-game series, right?
Yeah, we got the end of the year, and so it was the best 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
Today they only played 1 game,
I get it.
but then, I played in 165 consecutive games that year. Excuse me, I played in all 162, the regular season,
That's 3.
and we play in the best 3 out of 5, and we play all 3. That's 165, and I do believe I played every inning.
Really?
Yes. And that's a record that cannot be broken because today, if you tie it at the end of the year, you only play a one-game playoff. So the most any
Forever, you will have played forever.
forever.
As thousands and thousands of players, you will have played in the most games ever, forever.
Consecutive games. We were in Dodger Stadium playing the third game
You're at home.
at home.
If you're in Vegas,
Yes.
the money's on you guys.
Oh, definitely. I had just stolen my 103rd and 4th base, and we were leading by. I stole third, and Tom Haller threw the ball in left field,
Okay.
and I scored, man. And everybody was standing and applauding, the whole city, and we were counting our money. We, in the top of the ninth, playing
Okay.
at Dodger Stadium. We were leading by a run, and we walked in the tying run and the winning run. And you would have thought that, just leveled the whole town.
Shock again.
Oh yeah. To experience a loss like that, it's quite an experience. It
Sure.
could be a blessing in a way.
That's what I was going to get to. Because maybe it set the stage for 63.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.